Hello, hello. Mm, mm, mm. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How's everything going?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Tired as always, but I'm good. I
How's your shoulder, Elizabeth?
don't think
I don't think.
I don't
How's
think
your
she is.
shoulder, Elizabeth?
Oh, sorry. I lost sound there for a second. I was like, I don't know
No
what's going on
worries.
here. I'm okay. I go for my MRI on Tuesday of next week, and then I see the orthopedic surgeon on Friday.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least you'll get some answers. That'll be good.
Yes.
Well, I hate that you got to go through that.
Indeed. Yeah,
It it's definitely not been a fun experience, I'll tell you that.
I believe it.
All right. I know. So um I told y'all didn't have to do the React router, go through it. Because we'd be going over that today. It's React router's pretty straightforward. It's not the most confusing thing. Um, and uh, yeah, and I don't. Did we do anything with React router when we worked with JavaScript? I don't think we did. I don't remember what we did. No. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and it's actually I said React router. It wouldn't be React router. There's a different variation that's a router for JavaScript that's similar. So React router isn't the right answer, but um, so um, I know we were learning TypeScript. We're gonna go uh pretty heavy in on TypeScript on Saturday. We'll get some more experience with TypeScript on Saturday. So today we're just going to focus on React Router just so for the page routing. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Um I remember if you remember I told you that let me share my screen. I told you that we had let me see. Yeah, we had a what was it? A component, like there'd be components where you would wrap. Am I sharing I'm sharing the wrong thing. Let me redo this. Where you would wrap your components in, like it'll look like the regular, how like the regular elements are, like the divs and the A tags and all that stuff, like in HTML. There are going to be some instances. You're going to see a little bit more of that working with React Router because you're going to be wrapping components and yeah, you're going to be wrapping components and other components and that child parent relationship matters. So we're going to be looking at that today. Oops, skipped ahead. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be installing React Router and then we're going to basically map it to where the URLs were. So what React Router is doing, it's looking at what the content of what's in this address bar, right? So it's checking to see what's there and it's telling our page how to render the content to our screens, right? And then we're gonna do navigate with link and then read params using what the use param took. So so we have our base URL, which is, the URL like the the .com, how we get to the website, right? But then we have our params after that URL to determine like it tells us which part of that website we need to access. So, that's how our little subdomains, our path is telling us what pages we're looking for, and this is gonna tell like, okay, it's gonna tell our React application, hey, I want this page, and it's gonna say, okay, we're gonna go in, we're gonna grab whatever component it's supposed to be, and we're gonna render that. Is the basic way to say it. All right. So React is typically considered to be like a single page application. So what's happening is, remember that root DOM that we were talking about? It's attaching to that root, and every time, yeah, we're rendering our components to that root, and every time we want to change a page, what we're doing is we're accessing that root, and we're just rendering uh directly to that root element. So it's essentially acting as it's like a one page application that acts as like a multi-page application. It's kind of a weird concept, um but that's just the basic understanding of what it is. So like I said, it's the router maps the URLs to components and then just swaps them in place. So takes that root component, or yeah, that root DOM object, and then it's just rendering our components directly to that. So even with this concept, or yeah, this setup, we're still able to get our forward and like our forward and backward navigation. So like if you wanted to go back or forward in a application, it still maintains that. So that's one of like the benefits of using React Router. It handles that, as well as, let me see, because it doesn't, yeah. So it doesn't say because I haven't navigated here, but you can also, what was it? Uh-oh, I gotta go back to my page. Yeah. So anytime like if you click on the link um within your page, like if you click on one of our links that's part of our routing, then it's also gonna automatically update this address bar, right? So it's not just gonna, even though it's a single page application, it's still updating its address bar, and just like any other application that you would be used to. All right. Any questions about that so far? No? Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and then we'll install React Router. It's a fairly simple installation. Just npm install React Router DOM. Code block. Also put in the Slack just in case. All right. We'll do this up. All right. Do you have any issues installing it? Oh, good. Okay. All right. So this is what I kind of alluded to in like one of our first classes, like how that in the main .jsx file, we would have something you wouldn't really see things like you wouldn't change code in there much, but there would be some items that you would include, and then React Router is one of them. So what we are going to do actually is now that we installed it, we're gonna just like here, see, we're gonna wrap our app. You see, we have our app. This is our app that we're currently, our main app, which we're using as our home screen in this instance, is being rendered. We have that wrap. So right here, it's in strict mode. Um, we are going to import our uh, browser router into our main.jsx file, and then we're going to wrap our application in it. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And you should see. Oh, yep. And then this is one of those things. Oops, wrong button. This is one of those things you don't do very often. So I always I don't know if it matters on. I always get it confused if strict mode needs to be inside or outside the browser router, but we are gonna find out. And I'm not sure if it matters. It may matter. Okay. So we got our browser router, or we got React Router DOM installed, and then now we're importing it into our main.jsx file.
Um,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
No worries.
So I typed it in there and it's just sitting there. It's not doesn't seem to be installing. And I kept thinking it was gonna do something, but it's just not. Um
It's not installing at all. Oh, it's like
it's
hung on the.
yeah, it's like it's hung. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Are you doing it in the VS Code terminal or
Yes.
okay?
In the VS Code terminal in my
Oh,
meal database.
okay. Let's see. Hit the Control C,
Okay.
and that should terminate that.
Okie dokie.
And then try try to install it again and see what happens.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to kill your terminals and then restart them.
Oh, there we go. It worked.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Of course. Hey, I always love when that solution works.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Yeah, I love it when the turn it off, turn it on works again. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. So I'll give you some time to import it into the main.jsx file and then wrap your application in it. So-
Okay, so I have added that to the main.jsx. I put in the import curly brackets browser router from
Mm.
React dash router dash DOM. Is that all I need to do so far?
Uh, that should be all we need to do. I might, yeah, that
Oh,
so far, yeah,
browser.
that's all we need to do.
Okay. Let me
Hold
just
up.
make sure I just noticed the browser router in the green. I need to put that in, I think.
You got to wrap the wrapped application in the app.
I forgot to do that part. I just realized.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
One
that's
second.
got it.
I think I have got it. I think I'm good now. Thank you.
Of course. All right. Well, now that we got that, all right. So that wraps our application and our browser router. Our browser router takes that as a child, and then it's going to apply some logic to it based on it being a child, right? So what is happening is watching it's watching the URL, and then um it tells like what routes, what to render, right? So it's basically essentially pointing to which route that we need to go to based on what's in the URL. So just hearing it kind of doesn't make sense, but when you see like when we break down what the routes are, then it makes a little bit more sense. So what's happening is now I'll show you, as you see in our routes component or in our app component, we just have, we have a div with our components that we're calling into it, and that's how we're rendering our home page, right? So we have that one page, and we're just statically rendering these items on there now, currently. Now, what we want to happen is we have our routes and our route component. So we want to have our routes component and then our route. We want to pass a route for each page that we want to be able to render on our application in this way. So we have our routes component. This is what the browser router is talking to tell which one of these to render, right? So the logic is being handled by React Router DOM to say, okay, even though we're listing all these components out, not every single one of them is going to be listed all at the same time, right? The router is going to be like, okay, based on this URL, which is the path here. So it has this path. It's browser router is looking for it. So if browser router see anything that matches this, it's going to say, okay, we need to render this route. And it tells which element to render, which is in this case, which is a component we haven't created yet, which is the mill details. Um, and then the path, if you just see a forward slash, that indicates that's going to be our home page, which you're going to see it referred to as the index or a home page. So those are usually used interchangeably, but it depends on who you're talking to. Good old tech world, but it depends on who you're talking to, because and what framework you're working in, because the index could indicate the home page, or it might indicate the the default page of a particular route. So that's something we'll get into more as well as when we get into next. Any questions about routes so far? Any or browser router so far? Nope. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. It is following the path essentially. So we'll go ahead and replace our code here with that logic. So we'll go ahead and import. We're going to import routes. Let me make routes and route. And then we'll just get rid of all of this here. And then we're going to do our routes. Oops. And a route. So we can make our route. So our route would be the self-closing. And you're gonna have the path. And you're gonna have your home page, which one you want to represent your home page, which will just be the / an element, which will be an object because it's going to represent the component that we want to render for this page, right? For this route. We got that. Or we need a second. Okay, and then once we get that, we'll just go ahead and oops, we'll go ahead and just start up our dev server again. Uh-oh. Oh, because I haven't hit the element. We will well, let me see how we were rendering the most in here. Okay. So we'll do our body. Oop, wrong one. Sorry. So for this one, we'll just render our body. We're just still gonna have that same component uh tag structure, syntax, I should say. All right. We got that. So now we are on our index, our base path, and this is rendering from that routes. So we put our body there. If I was to replace it with footer, or let's do header. If I was to replace it with header, and I guess we don't have anything in our header. I thought we did. Oh, because we didn't pass the title. We do the title. If I could- But yeah. So now it's showing our header component as this route. So it's do the body. I'll do the body. I just wanted to demonstrate that. So we have our body and it's still pulling from our API. It's showing our search bar and it's showing that mill list. So as you can see, everything that our search bar still worked. It's still making our API calls as we are type in to our search bar. So it's making that query every input. But we don't want to really route to a particular component, just a component, right? We want to route to what we want to be our full pages. So instead of just having a body which is typically going to be like our component, we want this to represent our page. So typically what we would see here is we got our components here. We would also have we would also have another directory called pages. So our components represent just different components that uh for our use cases, like we're gonna have our meal card, our meal list, all that fun stuff. Our pages is gonna be what's gonna represent what we want to be our particular pages that we want to route to, right? So if we have our home page, we're gonna have that indicated here. And then so on for any particular page that we want. So we want a meal detail page, uh, then this is where we would house that. So here I am going to go ahead and create a meal detail.jsx. So let's do this. So the meal detail page is where we are going to provide more details about our particular recipe that we want to drill into, right? Um, so when we, oh, sorry, are we still referencing? Oh, that's nothing, but I give it some time to make that new folder and that new file. We good on that? Okay. All right. All right. So right now we have it as the body, which we'll keep it as a body for now. Uh, but we are gonna set it up. What we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna set it up to where you can click on this and then it's gonna take you to the mill detail list. Um, the way we're gonna do that is obviously we're gonna have to make each of these links, and then we're also gonna have to be able to identify when we click on one because the way we're gonna have it set up is the route is we're only gonna have one route. It'd be crazy to try to have to set up a route for uh each card that is generated as each a separate route for each card that's generated. So we need to be able to do that dynamically. And would if we're doing an API, there's no way to tell exactly how many items we're gonna have. So we need to be able to do that dynamically, which is gonna be what we touched on as well. And you can see that we handle that here and the way this path is set up. So this one, it has the mill, and then forward slash the colon ID. So this is telling it that this is going to be a parameter. So whatever value we put in here, so we're going to put mil and then this parameter, it's going to tell it, okay, I know this is a parameter, so this is going to be it can be any value. I just expect any value. I'm going to take that parameter and then I'm going to pass it in and we're going to do something with that parameter. So here for the link, this is how we are going to uh link our cars to particular routes. Instead of using the A tag to make it a link, we're going to use the provided link element, the tag. So what it does is just navigates without a full page reload, and then it lets us pass the destination as a prop. So right here, we're gonna update our meal cards to use this. So as you can see, it has that meal, like we discussed, like we mentioned that last one, it has that meal, and then that meal parameter, and then we are dynamically passing that ID, and here it's going to be our ID dot meal because we know our meal IDs are unique. So that's how we're going to identify which page that we're going to. So what we'll do here, we'll go ahead and create that route. We can go ahead. On Mac, you can use the Option Shift on the line that you're in. You can use the Option Shift and then you can go down or up and it'll just create a copy for you. That's what I like to do. If you want to retype it, feel free. You can definitely retype it, of course. All right. So our we got to create because I skipped that part. We got to create the second route, which is going to be the mill with the parameter, the ID parameter. And it's going to be the colon ID. And then we have our mill detail. We haven't created our mill detail yet, but oops, have it in there. So we're going to make our element the mill detail, which, like I said, is going to be our detail page. But what we can do is we can go ahead and update our mill card to use the link. We don't need that anymore. So we're going to import the link. Sorry, did we have the second route set up already on the app .jsx? I guess I'm getting
Can
ahead
you
of myself.
show it one more time so that I can make sure I have mine coded correctly?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good to go. Perfect. All right. So we're gonna go to our mill card, and then we're gonna import the link from React Router DOM. And then you gotta be careful because I React comes with its own little React router. Um, I don't think I've ever used React router. It's usually like React router DOM. Um, so sometimes you can get confused. Like you might have like the actual right component and it may not be working exactly correctly just because um we didn't do the right import. React Router DOM is built on top of React Router, I believe, but um if I remember correctly, but there's some additional things that can cause some issues. So you want to be conscious of that. All right. So the simple way is right now we got our card uh set as a div. Um we can simply just update our div to be that link. So you want to make sure you update the opening and closing element of that return statement. So to use that link, and then the link basically for the parameter it uses the to. So you can think of it like link to, like just like telling it where to go. In this case, we'll do so we're passing in that mill. So remember we're passing the mill card, we're doing that map, we're passing in a mill and then from the API and each mill has that shape that we discussed. So we know that we should expect it to be the oh wait. Yeah. The mill dot ID mill. Oh, I almost skipped a part. I gotta hit myself. So we want it to be how to do that. So yeah. So it's expecting so this is the object. So it's gonna be expecting a string. So we want to make sure that we do be able to pass. We're gonna have to do the temperate literal to be able to pass that strings with the ID mill the mill ID in it. So, because we're gonna want it to do that path, which is gonna be the forward slash mill is gonna be forward slash, and then we want to escape it by doing the the money sign. I forget what they call it, but the money sign, and then it's going to be the mill dot ID mill. So and it's gonna pass whatever that mill's ID is, it's gonna pass the forward slash mill forward slash mill the ID. Notice that we don't have to declare like we don't have to do ID equals or anything like that because it knows whatever value that we pass after this mill parameter should is going to be a parameter that identifies um something, right? So that React Router knows that, so it does that part for us. And then with that, uh-oh, we broke something. Oh, I know why. It is because our mill detail. So yeah, so we're not gonna render anything right now because we're passing in this mill detail and it doesn't uh it's not we haven't set it up yet, which is fine. We'll get there in a second. So we got that set up. Oh, okay. Or well, did we have that set up on our end there for the mill cart? We have the new mill cart set up. Okay. Oops. So here with so we were talking about those parameters. Um, React comes with this is where we're going to set up the mill details. React comes with its use parameter hook, which is going to take that. See if you can see from here in the example, have that route, have the mill, and then the ID, that parameter. What the use parameter does is it takes that ID and it does something with it, right? We make it do something with it. So we can do whatever we want with that ID, right? Um, we can like here it's returning the mill ID, and then it's returning that ID. So if we do this, we should expect to see it generate whatever that mill ID is, right? Let me see. Let me want to make sure we've got them. Okay. Oh, so we'll go ahead and oops. Man, I cannot type today. We're going to import the use params from React router DOM. And I'm trying to make sure I ain't going too fast. All right. Oops. So what we're doing here is we're gonna declare um we're gonna declare it as in a variable with which is like a deconstructed object basically. So what it is happening is it's taking we're telling it to find this ID and to what you call it, match those IDs and to use them, right? So hold on, let me see. So it's gonna go through and it's since we're doing the use params hook, it's gonna find the ID. It's gonna take that ID and whatever uh has that same ID key, it's gonna find that key, and then it's going to take that value and assign it to this variable that we declared here. So it's a shorthand for being able to match whatever key you declare here, finding that key and then just using that value from that same key, that matching key. So then that way now if we want to use ID, uh it'll simply take that ID and pass it on to uh whatever else we use it, wherever else we use it in our code. It was like, oh, sorry. I'll let us finish. We're good on that? Any questions so far? No. Okay, perfect. And then I will say, so with the Man, words are so hard today. The deconstructed object. So, you can have multiple params, right, in one path. So, if I was to have like the uh color or whatever, right? You can have this, and then you can also access it. Uh, it would simply just do color, and so any as many as you put on there, you can also capture them in that same way. And then I know like if anytime I'm explaining something like this, because I know it can seem abstract sometimes. If you need me to create a visual, I can create visual for these, and then like I can either find some visual, create some visuals or whatever I need to do, and then share them in the chat, or we can go over them more details on like a Saturday or something, so you can have that. Sometimes it's just like being able to see like an actual visual map of how they map can help as well. Because like saying these things is kind of confusing. Like it's pretty straightforward. Like when you see it on a map, it's pretty straightforward. But sometimes it can get confusing just like hearing them and then like going back and forth, yo-yoing between. So just let me know if we ever need to do anything like that. I'm more than happy to.
I
I,
personally, I would love like some sort of visual map kind of thing. That would be, I think, really helpful.
okay, perfect. I'll probably just start trying to include those more by default. So that way I'll include those more by default. I know I added it like for the structure, like of the pages, in here, which in hindsight, I really should have did it for this, but it's a learning moment. Okay, sorry. Okay, but yeah, so that was just to show that you can because you'll see that's a pretty common thing. Using those deconstructed objects to be able to assign them values, because you might pass an object to where it has multiple parameters like that, and you want to be able to declare them in one instance like this without having to go through and have five different declarations, right? So for our baton, and then simply for this one, we're just gonna have we're gonna return so we exported. So what all this gonna do is it's gonna render the mill ID value. Also, I think there's a like yeah, you can do the thumbs up reaction. You can just show me a reaction, thumbs up in the video, whichever one's easier. Um, just indicate whenever you're done. Take your time, no rush. Perfect. Also for future reference, I should have said this from like the very first class. Um, but for future reference on Wednesdays, with my classes, if you want to follow along, that's great. You don't have to. Like if you benefit better from like just seeing me do things, and then like seeing me do things and then applying them later to your own code, like however you want to do that, you can do that as well. Because I am like these I save these to the GitHub, that GitHub I share it with. These are all saved to the GitHub as well, so you can always reference that GitHub and copy the code that way as well. and like you can even go in and manually copy it in to get that hands-on experience as well. It's good to have hands-on experience, but sometimes I know some people benefit from just like watching and seeing and then doing like that as well. So that's also um an option as well. So don't feel like you have to follow along if it's just one of those days where you feel like you benefit better from just watching me do things, then feel more than welcome to do that. Because I am a weirdo. I would sit there, I would watch, and then I would just go, and then like I'll have like a little separate project where I'm working on things, like not working on things, but like experimenting, and then I'll just do like weird little quirky things, just as like, because if you think of like your own use case and then you apply it to something that you want to do, then you tend to like remember it better. If that's, your learning style. That's how I learn. Like I'll do something, I'll see it, and then I'll apply it for my own use case. Like I'll be like, I wonder if I can, do like pass like a little, just pass my name. I want to pass my name into a route and like do handle like this different way. And even if it's not exactly what we did, I learned sometimes by doing it hands on that way. So everybody's different. So I want to be amenable to like whatever your learning style is, whatever's best for you. And if you want to copy it as we go along, if you want to follow along, that is perfectly fine. Because if you learn better that way, then you learn better that way. So,
I think Laura witnessed that that was me on Saturday after class because I was like,
uh-huh.
I did this, this, and this. And she's like, you did what?
Oh yeah. That's how I am. So I definitely understand. So I'm glad. Hey, I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah,
And
she's just like putting all kinds of just kind of whizzing through stuff. It was kind of something clearly clicked for you, I tell you what.
It was it was pure ADHD madness, I swear.
Uh, yep. That's how for me, it's like you might see it like that. It's like something click for me, but like for me, it was like, oh yeah, I messed it up like 100 times, and then I landed on it. So
Yep.
perfect. We we all caught up on this one.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Perfect. Okay. Let's see. We got the mail ID, so it's gonna do, all right. And then let me see. I got, oh, yeah, I need to check because where did we? There it goes. Okay. So we haven't imported it yet. We're gonna import meal detail. And this is a new import because we're doing it from our pages. And IntelliSense was nice enough to autocorrect for us. Oh, I didn't do from. Sample.
And our recipes are back. It's no longer broken.
Oh, oh
I
wait.
did have to do an NPM run dev.
Yeah. I was gonna say we changed a bunch, so meal detail, meal detail. Uh-oh, I broke something. Probably showing one of my examples. Uh-oh. Typo somewhere. Oh, another rookie mistake. I knew it. So I put it in the curly braces, even though I exported it as a default. So the default. Let's see, I might need to restart the server again. There we go. I do it this way very intentionally so that well, I don't make the mistakes intentionally, but I allow myself to be able to make those mistakes so you can see how this is a very normal process. I'm more of a like a heads down coder. So like once I start working, that's when I'm more accurate when I'm like going back and forth like this. I'm more likely to make these mistakes because that's not my typical process, right? Like so um it's normal, but it's also good for y'all to see because one of the ways I built confidence as a developer is like peer coding with somebody who had way more experience with me, and then seeing them make a lot of the same mistakes that I made or that I was gonna make, and then being like, okay, I seen this mistake made. This is being able to rationalize it. It helps because like even now, a lot of my a lot of you maybe you will, maybe you won't, but a lot of it, I get a lot of imposter syndrome. I don't know if you heard that term before, but it's perfectly normal. I think it's one of the things like if you stop feeling imposter syndrome, you might be getting a little too comfortable. so, uh, so I always feel like but being able to see these type of things help me settle in a lot better. Because I'm like, okay, this is pretty normal. Because like especially if you watch, I don't know if I said this, but if you're watching videos like on YouTube or something and they're just coding through it and they're like breezing through it, like a lot of the times those are pre-scripted, right? Like they knew exactly what they were going to type before they typed it. They're not like off the cuff all the time, just typing this stuff out without no mistakes. Like probably see like some of there might be YouTubers they'll go through and they'll like show their mistakes as well, but like just know that they're not everybody just breezing through their code like that. That's not realistic. All right. So we got our this back. So now what we should be able to see is if we click on now we see we got our pointer, the little hand is called the pointer. And if we click on it, it takes us to that page. And then look, we have our mill with our mill ID of 53322. Crazy concept. React allows us to be able to handle things in such a simplified way, it seems. Well, what complicated now, but overall, compared to how we had to do it in plain JavaScript, right? Uh, so we can go back to our homepage, and now we get our photos. So what? So we got that, and now it's working at that tells us it's working as expected, right? It's reading this ID, and then it's using that ID that it passes and allowing us to do whatever we want with it, right? And then, oh, did I mess up on something? Oh, okay, that's fine. I don't know what that was. Okay, that's fine. That was just supposed to be. I messed that up. It's gonna be preview of what we're gonna be doing this weekend, right? Because now we made so this is how like we're gonna be using that API for all our to build this application out, right? We're listing out our mills. Now we're clicking on the mill and it's taking us to a page that's using that mill's ID. So what we're doing is now we're going to use that mill ID. We're going to you pass that ID to the API, and then we're going to get the specific because we seen the we seen the API that pulls all those items back. Now we're gonna get the API that pulls the information for a specific recipe, right? And it's gonna include the recipe information, the the picture, the ingredients, and we're gonna handle those ingredients and all that stuff, right? And we're gonna present them in a way that is representative of a recipe website, right? So now we're going to make that's what we're going to be doing on Saturday. We're going to be implementing that and then making it basically our own. So a lot of Saturdays is going to be I'm going to introduce TypeScript, and then it's going to be you pulling in that API and then doing something with it. All right. Any questions about React Router? I hope it was as straightforward as it could be. I just that's the very basic of there's some more that we can lean into that we will see as we go on. But other than that, if you don't have any questions for me, I'll see you on Saturday.
Sounds great. We'll see you Saturday.
All right, thank you. And then if you have any questions about TypeScript from here to now, feel free to ask me. You don't have to wait till Saturday, but yeah, I'll see you all on Saturday. Bye.
Sounds good.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.